I'm doing well. I don't need anything. Life is good. I was just thinking of you and thought I would send a shout out affirming that all is well with you. Make yours a phenomenal day. That is the best mental health check in you could possibly make.
Mm.
This mingling moment has been brought to you by the School of Opulence.
All right.
So you were talking to yourself.
I actually received that text message this morning
Oh.
from a patient who just really and truly, and that the best inspirational thing. Once I got stuck in traffic, I called back. We had a conversation, and the best thing was like, I'm just happy to be able to say that it's real. I'm good right now.
Yeah.
All is well. And you get a little nervous sometimes when you get that all is well, right? Like I'm okay. I don't need anything else. But then they proceeded to tell me about their birthday plans. So it was like, okay, great, right? For August, right? Oh yeah, I've got plans for my birthday in August. So that's always good. But that is the best. And July is Minority Mental Health Month.
Mm.
Yes, so it's Minority Mental Health Month. And so tomorrow we'll be doing candid conversations and we'll have a couple of therapists on, Michelle Batchelor and Khalid Scott. We'll be on talking about minority mental health because we don't talk about it enough. We say we're going to talk about it, but then what do? I'm on a good church show, so what do? We pray about it. We say, go pray, right? But there are times when we need a little more than prayer.
The work behind the prayer.
Well, faith without works is dead.
The work behind the prayer.
So you got to
Yes.
work your faith.
Yes.
But that was very interesting. Otis and I were talking, and he said he was gonna. When people ask me how I'm doing, I usually say absolutely, positively amazing. He was like, I don't want to say that anymore. I said, well, good. And he said, well, what can I say? I said, well, just tell people you winning. And so now when people say, how am I doing? He said, I'm winning. And you'll start believing that.
Gina said something extremely important. When people say and send those kind of messages, you think automatically, you go to the positive, but then behind that positivity is, have you made the resolve in your mind that you're either going to take your own life or you just are okay with the fact that you don't care anymore. So like you said, then they started talking about birthday plans. So futuristic plan, you have to ask those intentional questions if in fact they did not say anything about the future.
That's an interesting, I didn't even catch that part, but you're right.
You read that, I immediately stopped what I was doing, right? And made sure I phoned them. And once we start talking birthday plans, I was like, okay, I didn't open the conversation with, hey, are you okay? You're not about to do anything. I said, hey, I'm so glad you checked in, right? Perfect timing. I was able to talk to them. And then they began to talk about birthday plans. And so that made the difference.
Yes. Well, the reason I said that is because I read a phenomenal article about Phyllis Hyman, great R&B singer.
Yes.
And she was chronically depressed most of her life. You wouldn't think so because she was beautiful. She had a great burgeoning career, a beautiful melodic voice. But when she finally decided that she was going to take her own life, she called everybody that she considered to be important in her life and told them how happy she was because she was resolved. So I say that to say that in this mental moment, the takeaway is read the signs and read them behind what has been written. You got it.
That was amazing.
And that is exactly
you is smart, you is kind, you is important, and you clinking too with these braces on. I said, Lord Jesus.
But I could only see one at first. I kept saying, well, what's making the
I
noise?
said, is Santa Claus on the way? It sounded like the Santa bells ringing in the distance. I had to look down too because I'm like, well, how
Salvation Army bell,
yeah.
right? The Salvation Army bell.
But you know what? That was a great, great mingling moment, Gina. And you know what? We do have to pay attention to the signs because I didn't think of that. And somebody could be, like you said, Phyllis Hyman. She was just happy with the decision that she made to take her life.
And hopefully obviously she took her own life. So
yes.
But futuristically speaking, hopefully that one person that you call, once you've made that resolve, has the right thing to say at the right time.
Yeah.
So I have just a very quick personal story. Dave Dorson, Chicago Bears.
Yes.
I spoke with him. I held a text for years until I changed phones right before he committed suicide. And he told me, you'll be fine, Gina. Crying over some guy. He was my friend. I was like, Steve and I broke up and this is this and this is that. It was February 14th and like, he's on to someone else. He texts me back like, Gina, you're going to be fine. Last text. 3 days later, all over the news, he committed suicide.
Wow.
And that, again, that depression is some of that stuff that you don't see. You're a legend. You're a Chicago Bear. He's one of the only people who got a degree while playing. He got a master's degree from Harvard in business while currently playing. And so, yeah, just that is exactly what you said. And as soon as I hear that and I hear things like that, I need to do a check-in. So that's the best thing you can do is check in on people, especially since it's Minority Mental Health Month.
And you know what? That right on time message can change the trajectory of whatever it is that you're going through. Let's do it. Lisa knows right on time. This is Inspiration 1390. I don't need you pointing to me about
Oh my God. I know you were going to say that.
Jarrell had this.
I tell you how much I love the way you talk.
I'm sick of you.
Look, don't tell me what you
Oh my God. I couldn't even say good morning. She like, I'm sick of you. You're worrisome. I'm like, what did I do?
And the reason he's so worrisome is because when Marcel, if I could be calling him, my leg would be separated from my knee.
Not answer.
He won't answer.
But let his fingernail be broken.
Oh no, the polish chip.
You didn't answer my call.
You know what?
Oh, I'm sorry. You are here.
Right?
I
am sitting right here back here.
How about that?
Secondly,
that's what I say too. I'm like, hey,
pray for
right
me.
Here.
God is not through with me yet.
Yes, he is. He told me today he's through with you.
I was trying to take care of business.
Got me doing what?
No. Oh, well, they not here yet. Anybody heard from Shirley now?
No. But Facebook, Instagram, your exclusive topic. You see, she brought the wisdom today, y'all. And we're going to keep it up. Today's exclusive topic.
Can you text and see where they at? Because I don't want us to get enthralled and they have to cut it. Because they could be like on the elevator. Oh, what's the question?
The question is, have you ever talked to someone for the last time and that resonates with you because you thought that you could have said something different to make a difference?
Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, a couple of times that happened to me.
Really?
And it's like, but I couldn't see any sign. Our godson, father, we had him for the weekend,
I remember that story.
And they came, picked them up from our house because we were kind of rushing them because we had reservations for dinner. And we're like, well, y'all at? They're like, oh, we'll be there. So as soon as they come in, we talk, and they leave. We get to the restaurant from the west side to 55th Street, and then we get a call back. He had just killed, the father took the baby, they went home, and he shot himself in the head. And we had to rush back. And
what could you have said differently, though?
I wish I had known the signs to ask him, like, and I had to ask my therapist this because it was like, how did this happen? And she said, shout out to the High Park therapist, people don't commit suicide off of a one-day thing. It's something that's built up.
Of course.
And so I was like, I'm like, well, I just saw him at Thanksgiving. We were talking. He seemed cool, but.
Well, this isn't suicide, but the last thing my mother said to me, I got smart with my mama and just who she is. I'm okay with it. Never had an issue with it. I had just taken my new position at the course center and I was in my executive meeting.
You were smelling yourself.
My mother paged me from Mercy Hospital with my sister and her and aunt at the hospital with her and said, find your sister and aunt. And I said, they're at the hospital with you? Mommy, I'm in my meeting. She said, find your damn sister. Click. Last words.
Oh my
She died that night. But let me tell you, no, not mad at all. Found my sister and said, where are you all? She said, we're downstairs having breakfast. Mommy's fine. I said, she just called me, telling me to look for you all. She passed that evening, right? Not mad at all, because that's exactly how my mother would talk to me. Do what I tell you to do and call it a day.
Wow.
Period. Nope, nothing bad or anything and stuff, but just when you say that, not necessarily suicide, but just the last thing.
Well, that
was the question. It wasn't necessarily suicide.
Yes,
it was the last conversation that you had with someone.
So I was dating a girl, and when I was in my short stint in college, I loved this girl, and even after we were not together, I just loved her. She was one of my favorite people, and I never forget.
You became your favorite person after she became your ex, right?
Probably.
That's how that works.
But she was amazing. Well, the backstory, we didn't make it because, people say, I want a submissive woman and I want this. She was just too submissive. Like, if I was, I joke, it was like, would you be quiet? she would be quiet. And I'd be like, no, I don't want you to listen to me like that. Like, but nevertheless, she called me, and she was dating a guy. I didn't see any of the signs. She just said, I need to come and see you. I got to get out of Peoria. Is it okay? And I said, whenever you want to come, you can come stay with me, you know. And the next morning, Peoria police called me. I was the last person who talked to her before she was murdered.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
wait, this was not supposed to be this heavy. It's the first of the month.
I know, right?
No, we gotta get it out the way.
Yeah, let's get it on out the way. Let's get on.
We gotta get it out the way.
Yes, yes.
How many commercials we got?
We only got one more. We got two more.
We can start.
Well, we could just start a little.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it absolutely, you know, the tough conversations have to be had because you have to know the signs so that you can, if possible, change the situation from happening.
Absolutely.
Some things you can't change, but those are the
Deborah
things that
Graham.
you don't lament over. But the things that you can change because you've been educated about the signs, and that's what we're here to do, then you should change them.
I got a third one. I'm like, Lord,
I don't want to be around you. It's like my brother at Fisk. You can't take a picture with him. He takes pictures of all Fisk affairs. And if you take a picture with him by yourself, you're not making it to the next video.
Oh my God.
You gotta take it with a lot of people. But go ahead.
Well, when I was younger, my childhood sweetheart, who lived next door, long story short, we had got into it. She was supposed to went to prom with me. Her mother was unfortunately in jail. She couldn't afford the prom. And so I chose to go with somebody else. And she was so mad at me and was so hurt and wouldn't talk to me. She was my next door neighbor. We finally made up. She came to my house. She wanted to talk to my mother about God and all of that. And I said, look, I'm giving you a ticket to my graduation. I want to take you out. We're going to do it over. And the next day, she was shot in the head and was killed.
But you all ended on a high note.
Thank God. Yeah. And now they know why I drink. No, I'm just.
But you have had a heavy life.
I'm like, dang, now that I'm thinking about that, this has been through. I was telling Commissioner Stanley Moore and his wife just some stuff that's going on, and they both just start crying. And I'm like, Marcel, what did you do to them? I'm like, I just tell them some of the things I've been through the last couple of months.
You've had a heavy life to be so young. And your little baby has.
There on the brunch one. So
on Friday, we kind of touched on the debate, but we kind of glossed over it in the interest of time. But of course, you know, we're getting ready to dig into it. Now, Biden kind of made up, according to my mother, the next day, but the
do
next
Jackie
day,
drink?
Who I believe.
Do Jackie
the
drink?
next day, no, not at all.
I'm just asking.
The next day was not the debate, but of course, the U.S. presidents, I will say the presidential candidates, the president and the presidential candidate, took the stage.
The former president.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Joe Biden and his Republican rival Donald Trump took the stage this past Thursday night for a debate that offered voters a rare side-by-side look at the two oldest candidates ever to seek the U.S. presidency. Well, it was a horse and buggy show, and the viewers learned little about where both candidates stood on the main issues, but arguably, that is not why many people tuned in. The leading question going into the debate was how the two men, both of whom have faced questions about their fitness for the job, would handle themselves on stage and in the office should either one of them take, well, I guess one of them has to take the office, right? Well, the early going favorite, Trump, 78, who appeared forceful and energetic when compared to the 81-year-old Biden, who spoke in a hoarse, halting voice and often, sometimes meandering replies or trailed off during the answers to several questions. Now, someone do the math for me. 78 versus 81. How much of a difference is that?
3 years. But I want to say something because if
clearly
we had
you do, because you're over there poised like I'm not talking in my segment.
I know, but I don't want us to belabor the time talking about these old men that took too much of our time during that debate with a lot of nothing, right? I do want to say this. Trump must be on some type of drugs, though, because I just thought about something. When you're president, statistics have shown that you age in that 4 years an additional
he did not.
20 years. Trump did not age like Biden has aged. And I just thought about that. And so it just makes me to say, where is he going? What kind of drugs is Trump on? Because
Or
clearly,
what kind of drugs is Biden not on?
right. Well,
Right.
I'm gonna just say this, and our guests of honors have arrived. So, but I do want to say that I pray that the Lord touches Biden's heart and mind to step aside and let somebody else run.
And the views and opinions of Marcel are not necessarily those of the entire bunch.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have Trump as president. Biden cannot beat Trump.
Well, let me just say this: when you talk about the aging with the two, though, I think the difference is Biden cares about the people. Trump didn't care. He don't care what's going on. He's in the middle.
And he made it known.
Yes,
he made it known.
And so when you don't care, then you easily don't age.
Look, Shirley walked in and she's ready to say something.
You're not aging about it because you could care less about what's happening. You're just wanting. The narcissism is real. He's not aging.
Well, whatever drugs he on, which Trump said Biden is clearly on drugs because he wanted him to do a drop before the debate. The dude is crazy. He's funny though, and you know what? Here's the issue: if Joe Biden goes against Donald Trump, like we believe, I mean, it's going to happen, right? Donald Trump will be our next president, and today the Supreme Court ruled that a president cannot be criminally charged. And Justice Sotomayor said that she did not agree with that decision because that means if the president wants to hire the M6 to go and kill his opponent, he can do that and cannot be criminally charged. If he wants to take bribes for pardons, he can do that. So now we got an issue that if Trump is reelected, he's a businessman. He will probably be taking bribes for pardons. He can do a coup like they did on January 6th to try to overthrow the government. Absolutely. And still cannot be criminally charged.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. But Biden could go and bomb Trump right now, and he'll be cool.
I was thinking that too.
Well, okay.
One of my issues is if Trump does get into office, what do we do with all our brothers and sisters that has been incarcerated, and in some states they can't even vote? What do we do about that?
Not just they can't vote, but they can't get a job.
They can't get a job.
Have the highest job in the nation and the most important job in the nation. And feasibly, statistically, and constitutionally, not statistically, we don't have any precedents for that, but constitutionally, he could actually run the country from jail.
Yep.
Truthfully.
Well, you know what? His sentencing is coming up soon. So some of the charges,
can he be sentenced, though?
but I think they said some of the charges are going to be state charges, so they can sentence him.
Okay.
But federal criminal charges can't be brought against the president of the United States of America.
But I hear all of these people asking for Biden to step down. I don't hear people asking for Trump to step down out of it. And I don't understand that because you are facing more criminal charges than you ever have. You're facing more criminal charges than most people collectively.
He's a criminal.
But Trump is pushing the agenda that most white Americans want. He's saying what people just didn't have the nerve to say in our faces.
He is,
right?
But lawfully, you are unlawful.
That these migrants are taking our jobs.
No. That I want all of you people back in your places, women included. All of this.
And he wants the black people to work their black job.
You got it.
We at a black job right now. But listen.
Wait a minute. Let me say this, and this is really, really heinous.
Uh-oh.
No, it is. We were going to report this, but time just got in the way. There's a couple right now who have adopted 5 black children. They're a white couple, and they are using them as slaves.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough that this kind of divided nation, this kind of hatred spewing that we're getting from our leaders, and I'm putting that in air quotes, is really magnifying the fact that we could be on the road back to financial slavery, physical slavery, and mental slavery, which we never
or
really
civil war.
Or civil. Yes.
But I want to say this, and I'm going to close us out on this. Trump, the reason, and that was a good point, with people are not calling for Trump to step down and be replaced. The Republican Party isn't. But as a Democrat, you are... we will lose to Trump if Biden continues to run the race.
You just had a Biden moment, right?
No, Shirley was tapping her clock, but she late, so that's why we had to do this story.
That bite moment.
Oh, that was a biting moment. We're gonna call that a biting moment. But
you know, with those biting moments, what we have to all realize is we are gonna age.
yeah,
We are gonna age, but you know what?
Age.
How we position our finances will really determine how we age. Usually,
Yeah.
which is why we invite you guys every other week so that we can actually educate people on how to position themselves to be in it and not of it. Like we can be talking about this race, but you can also be preparing yourself to insulate yourself from whoever becomes the president. Absolutely. So we want to welcome you back once again. And also, like we always say, every time you come, we are honored to have you. And mainly, not just because you're fabulous women, but because you have the heart to give. And giving knowledge is a fruit-bearing gift that continues to give, right? Absolutely. And so this week we are talking about all things real estate, all things finance. And what specifically is your message today to the peoples?
Keep on keeping on. This is Shirley Fields.
And this is Letrusia May. And my message to the people is that I have been helping so many of our 1390 listeners with these refinances.
wow.
So please continue to call me, continue to, not listen to other people outside of the real estate industry. Find out what's best for you. If you need to refinance, if you need to consolidate your debt, or if it's a lot of listeners that's even thinking about, they've been motivated to purchase. So they want to pull money out of the equity out of their property. Because guess what? If you purchase property and between 2016, 2015, or even back in the day, there is so much equity now that you can pull out and you can start building more generational wealth, start buying more properties. So get rid of that fear and let's keep on calling. And what's the number they need to call?
Area code 773-616-0906. And for our sellers, there is equity in your home. If you've ever thought about selling, now is the time to sell. If you want to relocate, move to the south, or wherever you may want to go.
So what are some of those things, once you've refinanced and you have a big chunk of money, what are some of the things that we want to encourage people to do with that big chunk of money?
Call Marcel and you can donate. It's a 501c3. I'll make sure you write it off on the line.
I would say if you have a chunk of money, please do not buy stuff.
Yeah.
Invest it. Find out what you need to do to increase your generational wealth. So you want to use that money so every dollar can work for you. You want every dollar to build. You want to make $1 $2, $2 $3. You want to have that money to multiply. And there are ways you can do that.
One of the best ways to do it is to buy income property.
Yes, it is. And you know what's so wonderful about that? There is no down payment assistance programs out here. We at Rocket Mortgage, we have that. We give you down payment assistance for up to a 4-unit property.
And so what's an income property? So the people that don't know.
Income property is 2 to 4 units, and it's still considered as residential property, which means you'll still be taxed as residential property.
And why is that important, Shirley, being taxed?
Oh my God, taxes are so important because especially if you live in the city of Chicago
and in Crook County.
Oh my goodness.
Taxes are steady going up. So if your taxes have gone up, go ahead and do a certificate of error. You may have the deadline, you may have missed the deadline, but it's never too late.
Right, you can do it next year.
You're never too late. No, you can do it this year. You're just going to get a C of E.
Okay.
Yeah, that's called a certificate of error if they found an error within your property. Taxes are so important because taxes affect your mortgage. Okay. If you have if your taxes are $12,000 and you got an escrow,
I'll take it.
Right. Look, me too.
That's just
but that's $1,000 a month on top of your
the mortgage, right? And your insurance.
But if I'm doing homeowners insurance is the same. I had someone. She had a situation with the flood that happened in was it July last year?
Yep.
And her insurance went up to $15,000.
Wow.
For a year. $15,000 a year.
Can they do that?
Yes, they can do that.
We need some different laws.
Right. So guess what went up? That caused her mortgage payment to go up. Right. So what happened was I was able to. So that made her mortgage payment go up because of 2 reasons. They have to add that cushion, right, and then they have to pay it, and then they have to start all over with her escrow. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So
so it's a domino effect.
Yes. So I was able to hook her up with someone I know that was able to give her half off. So I would say more than half because it went down to like $5,000.
Oh, that's
that's one of the things that you get when you get Shirley and Letrusia holding your hand through this process. You get a plethora of other resources
We never
that are money saving resources.
and we're with you for life.
Yes.
If you call us and there's an issue with your property, we're gonna try to figure it out with you. We're not gonna say, "Oh, let me call you back," and never call you back.
Speaking of call us,
area code 773-616-0906.
I'm gonna get you a shirt to say "Call us."
Yes.
Sure.
What's a good amount to say you want to do income property? What's a good down payment?
It all depends on the purchase of the property. You usually got to have at least 6 to 7%. That includes your closing costs, your down payment, cost.
And she means of the purchase price,
Yeah.
6 or 7% of the actual purchase price.
Is what
if
you'll
I had,
need
if I had
down.
10 grand, what could I buy?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
But you can donate to Action Jackson.
Well, you know what?
Wait. I was just kidding.
I know. I totally get it. No, I get it, and I appreciate it.
but if you have 10 grand and a good credit score, your option pool becomes
Yes.
It's so
Very
like an
different.
Olympic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's another thing.
because what I can do, I'm going to get that seller to help you with that down payment closing
She
cost.
is,
So if
phenomenal.
you come
at
to that
doing
table with that 10,000, that seller's going to be motivated to go ahead and
10K, you got a lot of buying power
Yeah,
because
you
you got
do.
FHA.
That's what I want people to hear.
You
I
only
really
putting
understand.
3%. What's 3% down?
So I shouldn't play like
3.5%.
that.
3.5.
Conventional is 3% for a single family home for a first time home buyer. But another thing that I want to say that it is good. So you said liquid, so 10,000 you meant liquid cash, but a lot of people may not understand. If you have a 403B or a 401k, you can actually do a hardship loan, a withdrawal,
You sure
and
can.
use that money as well for your down payment.
And you might as well use it while you're here.
And that's another thing. If you are not contributing to your 401k or 403b, please do so. Because you will wake up one day and you will be surprised at how much money you will have saved, especially if your employer is contributing to it.
But even if the employer is not contributing to it, understand that those dollars are being invested on the S&P or the NASDAQ, depending on what the company is, and it's still earning you money.
Yes.
So it's really free money.
Yes.
So
and another thing is it's money that you're not likely to touch and buy all that stuff with. Because if it's in your bank account, I know we like stuff, but stuff just doesn't add value. It does not increase in value like a piece of real estate.
A different type of value.
Well, can I just say something that you can buy stuff, but it's deferred when you are following your process. Because if you follow the process of Shirley and Letrusia, guess what? In 3 years, you can buy way more stuff.
Exactly.
And I'm talking about you come in and shut the whole party down with your stuff.
Let me tell you something. Or in 3 years, guess who can buy the stuff for you? Your tenant.
Well, I just want.
That's even a better feeling.
Well, I just wanted to get this brief overview because I want the listeners to understand. A $300,000 house at 3.5% down is the $10,000 that Gina's talking about. But then Shirley's gonna go in and get the seller to give the max amount closing credit at 6%, which is gonna be $18,000 at back to the closer. So then,
with that math you just did, she's gonna walk away with a check.
I know you're gonna walk away, so you ain't even got to use your 10.
Us, the common folk, the public, we need to hear numbers that make sense to us. 3% of what? Now I don't know how to do 3% of $115,000.
I was using $100,000.
Well, I'm just saying, but just breaking it down, now I'm thinking, I can buy a $300,000 house.
Right.
With this
Or an
10,000.
income property.
Oh, wait, no. We don't want to mislead people. You have to be your income has to say that you can buy $300,000.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yes,
So you have to be able to afford it. And another thing is we have the 1+ program where we will pay your 2% down. So and then you would only have to come in with 1%, and this is only up to $350,000. But you could come. I've had some of my clients to come to closing with $1,000 or nothing.
Yeah.
Depending on if the seller is contributing. Now this is conventional.
Yes.
This is only on our conventional
But we don't
program.
like to say that a lot because we don't want to get your hopes up high and it doesn't work out.
But we do.
But this is a real life example.
Yeah, we do need to let people know what's out there because the fear is real. The false evidence appearing real is real. And so we definitely need to educate.
Please save your money.
Save your 10K.
If your credit is challenged, you definitely need to save.
And save this number.
773-61.
Go ahead, girl.
773-616-0906.
You guys definitely, as we change administrations, there are always challenges, and we want you to be ready for these challenges. But more importantly, we want you to be solid.
Yeah.
And Shirley and Letrusia are the examples of how to solidify your positions to make you recession proof and politically proof. So in the meantime, in between time, you're gonna have to call that number because our number is 1 o'clock and we up out of here. So,
happy birthday, Gregory Rags.
perfect. And we definitely want to always encourage you to keep Love 24 alive. Tell someone that you don't know, a perfect stranger, that you love them. Show someone that you do know how much you love them. Lead with love, land on love. I love you, Action Jackson.
I love you, Tamara Fair. We love you, believers. Baby Eminem, we love you.
Up next is AC Green, and right after that is Pastor Patterson on the drive home. We do it all night long right here on Inspiration 1390. Y'all stay optimistic.
All right.
What's your name, sir?
Sabrina said, is this for first time home buyers? Call them, Sabrina. 773-616-0906. It is for first time, but they may be able to help you still qualify for a first time, depending on when you bought your first time.
All that comes into play.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So your first time can start over.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's
So
a
you start
reset.
the first
It depends
time.
on if you haven't owned in the last 3 years.
Yes, but I mean,
So every 3 years, you could buy another first time property.
there you go.
No, you cannot have owned.
You can't have owned.
Yeah.
I thought after 3 years, but if you refine, it's not your primary residence. Can't you still get the first time?
No, as long as you own property, you're not considered a first time homeowner. You have to have sold it, lost it, whatever, and then you haven't owned anything for 3 years, and then you'll be considered.
But that's not an exorbitant amount of time to wait to start over and get all those other, those other benefits.
Let me ask you this,
First-time
Letrusia. If I own a property and I sell it to my company name and it's no longer in my name, my multi-unit, so I don't own any property, right? But there's more than one way to skin a cat, believers. All right, love you all.
Ways you find to skin that cat, you make sure that you call Shirley and Letrusia and get the cat good and skinned. Here. All right, guys. Always a pleasure. Talk soon.